But yeah, my name is Marek Olszewski. I'm one of the co-founders of Self Protocol, and as Erica mentioned, also Celo protocol. And if you like this talk, definitely check out Self at self.xyz. Follow us on Self Protocol on Twitter, and then my Twitter handle is Marek_.
Into their own apps.
And if you've seen any of my talks before, you probably know that I like to make things interactive and fun. And so I'm going to play a little game with you guys here. It's going to be called Guess the Country. So throughout my slides, I'm going to have country shapes popping up here and there. And if you recognize a country from the shape, yell the country name out. If you think you recognize a country, yell it out. Just yell as much as possible. We're going to make this competitive. We're going to have the folks on this side competing against folks on that side, okay? So let's see who is better at guessing countries. And there is a point to this madness. Every country that you see is a country supported by Self Protocol. Okay, so I'm going to warm you guys up, okay?
Who else is doing this? Like, who else is
Australia! Oh, this side is winning, guys. Come on, you guys just sat quietly. This is such an easy country. Okay, get ready for the next one. A little harder.
That are trying to do this.
France, okay. The right side is still winning. And the next one?
You need crypto, right? You need crypto for security. And
Canada is right, okay. This side's going to have to step up its game a little bit. But anyway, yes, we also have it. We also support America, but that shape is a little too easy for you guys, so it's not included here. But it is officially
I don't want to take away from everyone.
No.
Okay, so why are we here? Why are we talking about Self? One reason, certainly, is the fact that AI agents are here, right? It's pretty exciting. Last few years, a lot of incredible progress with AI, but also specifically agents. And that, in turn, is creating a whole new set of problems that we have to think about. Obviously, there's big ones like, will AGI destroy us all? But there's also smaller ones that we have to solve going forward. One of them, as you can probably guess by the title of this talk, is an ability to tell, are you an AI or are you a human? I don't know if you've had this situation already on Telegram or somewhere where you're chatting with someone and you're like, is this a person, a real person? This is only going to get worse. And there will be many legitimate use cases where we will need to be able to differentiate between AI agents and humans. Someone in the speaker room was saying that soon we're all going to be replaced. We're going to be living off of a UBI. To claim that UBI, you probably need to prove that you are a human, because I don't think neither governments or any NGOs that are going to be issuing these things are going to be that keen to also reward agents who are masquerading as humans. And so this is going to be a really big problem for us to solve. And it's a legitimate problem if you're a human, but it's also, I would argue, a legitimate question that AI agents will want to know too, right? Like if an AI agent is talking to something, it probably wants to know, are you a human, right? You can imagine a marketplace where people are interacting with agents, doing work for agents, right? You could say agents could be posting work for others to perform, and there could be AI to AI marketplaces, but there will also be a need for AI to human marketplaces, and those agents will almost certainly want to know, are they actually paying for an actual human or just someone pretending to be one? Another long-time problem in crypto is, of course, are you Sybil? There's been lots of Sybil lots of work done on trying to determine how to solve Sybil attacks. Obviously, proof of work is kind of the start of this, but it comes at the cost of lots of electricity. Proof of stake is one proxy, but it comes at the cost of plutocracies. WorldCoin is another solution, but that requires hardware that not everyone is physically near. And so I would argue that this continues to remain an unsolved problem in crypto, and one that will only get worse with AI, right? It's going to be a lot easier for an AI agent to spin up 1,000 accounts to claim an airdrop. It's not going to be like 100 accounts. It's going to be like 1 million accounts. And this is going to be probably a big pain for many of us going forward. And then finally, are you a bad actor? Now, of course, this doesn't apply to AI because we all know that they're going to be very, very friendly forever. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But certainly for humans, right? Vitalik was talking about the Bybit hack earlier. It's a really unfortunate reminder of the fact that there are a lot of bad actors out there, and we have to keep worrying about them. And right now, in crypto, there is no easy way to, at the smart contract level, really filter between these bad actors and good actors. And so this remains like a big, big open problem that, again, may get worse with AI agents going forward. And so, we've been working on something that we're calling Self, which we just released at ETH Denver. So this is very, very hot off the press. So hopefully you guys are very, very excited. You're among the first people to be seeing this. And Self is really an attempt at solving a lot of these kind of big, open, kind of unsolved problems. And it's a collaboration between, or partnership between the Open Passport team that's been working on ZK Passport technology for a long time, and cLabs, which spun out of the Celo Foundation. And so that's how I'm involved in this project. And so cLabs actually acquired Open Passport recently, and we worked really, really hard to launch Self protocol, which again is our attempt at solving these issues. And so you might be asking, how do we do this? It's a really tall order. Like a lot of people have tried before. Like, is this really going to live up to the name? And the way we do this is by leveraging the most, I would argue, trusted meat space attestation of who you are, which of course is your passport, and specifically your biometric passport. So I don't know if you guys noticed this logo on your passport before. Anybody recognize that? Have you seen that before? Yeah, so that means that you have a biometric passport. And these have been now issued for the last 20 years, and they're becoming quite common. And the really nice thing about biometric passports is that they are machine readable. So they have a little chip that is NFC readable with your phone, and it has all of your biometric data inside. Another reason why I think passports are just generally really compelling is because they're difficult to obtain, right? It's going to be hard for agents to get them issued. They're unique to individuals. Within one country, you can't get multiple passports issued usually. People tend to store them pretty securely, right? Like you need them to travel internationally, and so you keep them pretty safe. And then again, finally, the biometric ones are machine readable. Anybody recognize that country? Yes, one more point on this side. I think we're going to split this up. Let's do front and back, because you guys are just winning too much. Let's do round two. Okay, front and back. Cool. What about this country? Singapore is right. Back just received that. Nice. Okay, so biometric passports. So how do they work? They have this really nice mechanism that was created to effectively make it really hard to forge these things. So inside that chip that I mentioned that is NFC readable, you have your biographical data basically embedded. So everything that's on your front page of your passport is stored inside that chip. And that is cryptographically signed by this document signing certificate, which is then in turn signed by a country signing certificate authority. And so you can verify the authenticity of your passport simply by verifying these signatures and going all the way up the chain to the certificate authority. And then if you have the certificate authority, the public keys of all of the certificate authorities of every country in the world that's issuing these passports, then you can prove that any passport that you encounter is in fact legitimate and has not been forged. And so again, this is tech that countries have put into place now like over 20 years ago. And if you ever entered a country through those automated gates, then typically this is why it's taking so long. It's because those machines are actually reading this machine readable data. And this is all really exciting. But what is maybe even more exciting, I would say, is that now we have a way to prove that you have a valid passport without a counterparty, right? Most of the time when you are interacting with some KYC provider, you are interacting with a third-party counterparty that is taking that data and then effectively attesting on your behalf that you have that ID and you are in fact that person. But who here likes giving their personal, most sensitive data to third parties that they've never heard of that might get that data stolen in the future? Anyone? Not a single hand raised. So who instead would prefer if all of this were verified on-chain without a counterparty, simply checking those signatures on-chain? Anybody's interested in that? Yes, we have some hands up, but it's a trick question because you probably don't actually want to reveal your personal information on-chain for everyone to read. But what if we could do that in zero knowledge? What if we could prove that whole certificate authority chain in zero knowledge so you're not revealing your sensitive personal information to anyone? Who would like that? Okay, people with your hand up, go and install Self because we have it for you. It's pretty nice. We can literally prove, again, that certificate authority chain, that you are holding a valid, non-forged passport in zero knowledge, and we can verify that proof on-chain. And we can do so in a way that only allows you to do that once. So we have a registration flow that only allows you to onboard once with a particular passport. And so with that, you can effectively not only prove that you are a human, you can also prove that you're a unique human and that you haven't created an account in the past. Anybody want to guess this country? Oh, blocking the country. I see a lot of people doing this, which is pretty good. Anyone?
Looks like Russia.
Not quite Russia. I'm seeing some weird hand symbols, but I don't. It's not quite the UAE, no.
It's Turkey.
Turkey is right. Another point for the back. Cool. So one of the coolest things about this whole system is that once you've onboarded, once you've registered, you can now prove arbitrary facts about yourself that are derived from your passport data in zero knowledge without revealing all of your biometric data. So for example, you could prove that you are a citizen of any country without revealing which country, which again is a pretty good proxy for you being a human and not an AI agent. You could also prove that you are from a certain country without revealing anything else. It's nice you can also prove that you're over a certain age without revealing your age. You can prove that you're not from a set of countries, which could be useful for compliance. And even better for compliance, you could prove that you are not on the OFAC list, again, without revealing any personal information about yourself. And so that's pretty powerful. And you can prove it in a smart contract so that you could have a DApp that is gated by you proving that you're not on the OFAC list. And best of all, you can associate these proofs with public information like a wallet address. So you could, for example, to use that AI agent marketplace example, you could register that you are in fact a human, prove that you're a citizen of some country, and then associate that with a wallet address, and then use that wallet address to log into this marketplace. Pretty neat. This one's a hard one. Anyone guess this country? I'll give you a hint. Very close. This country has changed its name recently. Yes? Yell it out. And it's very close to Slovakia.
Czech Republic.
Czech Republic is right, although that is the old name. Czechia is a new name. Awesome. Okay, so what does the experience look like, right? Is this actually easy to use, you might be wondering? Do I want to even install this app? Do I want to build with this? Here's a little recording of the onboarding flow. So this is the first screen. First step is to scan your passport. It turns out that passports have this unique security feature where the data on the NFC chip is encrypted with the data that's on the first page. So you can't actually read the data off the NFC chip without scanning it first. It's kind of a nice thing. After that, you scan the data with your NFC reader on your phone and generate a proof. And then you're done. You're on the home page, on the home screen. It's all pretty easy. Let's see that one more time because that went by really quick. So we start by scanning the machine-readable part of your passport page. That's a little strip on the bottom. Then you do the NFC reading, and you put your phone next to the NFC chip on your passport. You scan it. Then you generate the ZK SNARK proof that you are, in fact, a unique holder of this passport. And then you're off to the races. You're on the home screen. And once you've done that, then you can make these disclosure proofs, right? So if someone built a dApp and they are requesting something of you, you can scan a QR code that the dApp generates. You can review what the third party is requesting of you, and then you can hold to verify, which basically means hold to generate a ZK proof that effectively proves whatever fact that third party was requesting from you. And it's important, of course, let's see that one more time, to review very closely what it's requesting of you. So here it's asking over something about your age and that you're not on the OFAC list and a few other things, and so you want to carefully review that. And it's all very, very quick, and so once you've onboarded, you can make these disclosures pretty easily, and you can then kind of interact with the third-party dApp that was requesting that disclosure. Okay, so how does all of this work? We have the passport, of course, at the start. The mobile app reads the passport in the way that we just showed. Then, unfortunately, it's a little difficult to generate these proofs on mobile phones today. The cryptography that exists today, while very, very advanced, is also very heavyweight. It requires a lot of memory, a lot of CPU. And so we use a trusted execution environment that accelerates that proof for the user. And so the mobile app communicates with this TEE only after verifying the TEE attestation. So it verifies that the code that's running in that TEE is in fact the code that it expects. And then it creates an encrypted channel and sends the data directly to the TEE. Once it's in the TEE, we cannot see that data. Even if we were hacked, the hacker wouldn't be able to see that data because it's living inside that trusted execution environment. Inside that TEE, it generates a ZK SNARK proof and then submits it on-chain for verification on-chain. And once it does that, it deletes the data. And so this data is only transiently in the TEE, which again is a secure enclave that unless Intel has a backdoor, nobody can actually access. The data is verified on Celo. Celo will soon become an L2 on March 25th. So that's, I think, just around, woohoo, yeah, in 2 weeks. And so this data will be available throughout all of Ethereum in a trustless capacity. And so if you're building anything in Ethereum and you want to verify someone's unique humanhood, then this is a really good solution for you. Yeah. And then if you are a builder, anybody here participating in the ETH SF hackathon this week? Any hackers? Okay, we got a few hands up. The rest of the builders are probably actively hacking now, which makes sense. But for all the builders in the audience or all the people who are in touch with builders, we have a really nice developer SDK, which allows you to integrate with Self. So if you have a use case for verifying that someone is in fact a human and not an AI agent, if you are building a marketplace that connects humans with agents and you want the agents to be able to verify that they're interacting with humans, if you are solving any sort of Sybil problem, maybe you have an airdrop that you're issuing and you don't want people to Sybil that airdrop, maybe you're having governance attack issues, or if you are developing smart contracts and you would like people interacting with those smart contracts to not be on the OFAC list in a way that doesn't require a trusted third party to verify that, but you just want to use math to verify it, then we have a solution for you. Another really common use case that Vitalik talks a lot about are using these things for recovering multi-sig wallets. And so if you have a multi-sig wallet or you're working on a multi-sig wallet, then this could be an interesting way to help users recover their funds if they lose their keys. And then there are lots of these fun use cases too. This is starting to deviate a little bit away from AI agent territory, but if you want to create something that rewards people on their birthdays with a smart contract, you can do that now. purely in a smart contract. If you want to reward people whose name it's Bob, you can do that. If you are the creator of Blonde Coin, and I think your hair color is in your passport, you can also issue airdrops to people who have blonde as their hair color in their passports. A lot of crazy things you can do, and it's just really fun to think about these things and actually build them. Anybody notice that country over here? Chile is right. Okay, there's definitely a better mix between the front and the back, so I'm glad I resplit the room. Yeah, so that's everything. Yeah, thank you so much. And again, if you like this, find us on self.xyz and on Self Protocol on Twitter. And once again, I'm Marek _. Any questions? It can be country-shaped questions. It can be real questions. Anything at all. Yes?
So, I saw in your registration flow,
yes.
I saw you scan the passport.
Mm-hmm.
You verify the identity of the person scanning the passport.
Great question. So typically when you do KYC, you do a liveness check. There's a video recording of you, and then they're comparing the picture that is in your ID to you. And so we do not do that right now, in large part because doing that comparison in zero knowledge is too heavyweight today. But we are capturing the data required for us to do that in the future once that cryptography becomes cheaper. And so, yeah, the answer is not today, but in the future we can do it. Yes?
How are you guys incentivizing people to onboard onto the Self protocol?
Yeah, so right now we're talking to builders about using Self to solve their problems, right? Again, if you have a Sybil resistance problem that you're trying to solve, or if you have a bad actor problem that you're trying to solve, then we're encouraging you to build with us, and then they will then be onboarding users onto Self. So that's the current plan. Of course, we have a way to uniquely airdrop Self tokens to individuals that can't be Sybiled, right? And so that's potentially something that we might do in the future. It's very, very interesting. We've seen, obviously, World have a lot of success with that. There's a lot of people who have biometric passports. We're also looking to expand this to national ID systems that use the same types of cryptography. So there's the Aadhaar system in India, and then all EU IDs nowadays also have these biometric chips in them. And so that's billions and billions of people that would be potentially eligible for receiving such an airdrop. And so, yeah, that's potentially something that we'll do in the future. But right now, we're focused just on builders. If you have a need, if you have a use case that could benefit from a zero-knowledge credential on-chain that doesn't require a counterparty, then definitely come talk to me. Any other questions? One last question. Yes?
How does the system handle edge cases like dual citizenship or like renunciation and changes in citizenship, things like that?
Yeah, great question. So if you get a new passport, then you can re-register. And so a lot of the times when people are requesting a disclosure proof, they will also check that your passport is, in fact, valid, that hasn't expired. And so that disclosure proof tends to be valid only at the point in time of the proof. And so if you, for example, use one passport to register for an airdrop, and then you get a new passport because your last one expired, you're not going to be able to use your old one to register for new airdrops. You'll have to use your new one. So that works generally fine. If you are lucky enough to be a citizen of 2 countries and you have 2 passports, then great news for you. You may be eligible for multiple airdrops in the future, more so than other people. And you know, I think that is an interesting edge case, but it's one that I think in reality not that many people fall under, and I think we're fine if there's some ability to Sybil this in those unique circumstances. Cool. Well, thank you so much. You guys were amazing.